I hope you have a cup of tea. I do. Mine's green. Yours might be black, or I don't know, it might be hot chocolate, it might be coffee, but get a hot drink. And I'm going to talk about the books that I've collected secondhand. I like a new book as much as the next person. The smell of a new book, it's not really much that beats it. However, Waterstones is expensive. I like being in there, but do I want to pay $10.99 for a book this big? I'm not sure. Secondhand bookshops and charity shops, that's where it's at. And I have collected quite a number of secondhand books. I think I have got them all in a pile. There's possibly more, but we could be here all day. So I'm just going to show you the ones that I like the best. I'm going to show you my new ones first that I actually got today because I'm excited. So this is my first absolute score. It's a Folio Society. Look at the cover first of all. Can we just? I think I'll read it. It's about the Earth, and I think it's like the physical geography. The chapters are islands, oceans, Alps, plates. Yeah, it's about physical geography of the Earth. I will read it at some point, but it is a collector's item. It was £3.50. £3.50, Great British pounds, for a Folio Society in perfect condition. So, I'm very happy to say this was an absolute win of a find in a charity shop. No, it was a second-hand bookshop. The other two I got from Oxfam Books. This one I got because I've picked it up a couple of times in Waterstones, but just never bought it. It's quite chunky. It's very old and sun-stained, but it's not in bad nick. It's Carter Beats the Devil by Glenn David Gould, and it's a fictionalized biography. So that I think the character is real, but they've kind of embellished. About Charles Carter, who was an American magician in the 1920s. It sounds good. Sounds very good, but I've looked at it before and it was $2.99. The charity shops, the book charity shops, really need to, you can't complain about money that goes to charity, but books used to be £1.50. They are no longer £1.50, okay? And the second one is one that I've nearly bought a couple of times. It's Out of Africa by Karen Blixen, also published under Isaac Dinesen, something like that. This is recommended on Gilmore Girls, so it's meant to be good. And I'm going to South Africa. This is set in Kenya, but I'm going to South Africa later this year, so I want to read it. It's a memoir about a woman who goes to live on a coffee plantation and manage it. It's only small, 300 pages, but I've never seen this cover before, which also made me want it. And it's perfect condition, spine, gorgeous. But you don't always get a good spine with a secondhand book, which is fine. It's fine. We like a loved book, a book that has been well read. These ones, other than Eat, Pray, Love, I think, there's one Pan Books, but 4 of them are Penguin. You know Penguin, they stan an orange spine. They really do. They love it. I'll start with Eat, Pray, Love. This one, do you know what? My favourite thing about secondhand books is that I always go in there looking for something. Hang on, I'm talking too much. I always go in there looking for something, and I was trying to track this down when I finished my yoga teacher training, because it's set in Bali. She goes to an ashram in India, so obviously it's kind of the same themes. I did my yoga training in Bali, so after I left my yoga training in Bali, I wanted to read a book about meditation and yoga and Bali. This was my gal. But could I find it anywhere? And then I walked into a second-hand bookshop in Chiang Mai, and there she was. And I even wrote myself a little note about where I found it, and I devoured it in days. When you just find something, it's like an achievement when you find something secondhand that you've been wanting. Sometimes I refuse to buy things firsthand because I want the challenge of finding it secondhand. So before I move on to my penguins, there's that one. So these 4 are Penguin, and then this one's Pan Books. This is a super old Pride and Prejudice. The spine is literally sellotaped together. She is definitely a little worse for wear. I mean, I didn't tape this. This is how I bought it. But when it was released, it was 60 cents in Australia, which is double, so 30p. So it's from, and I paid $2.99 for it in a charity shop. This edition is from 1967. So she is an old book. I actually haven't read Pride and Prejudice yet, and I do have another copy of it. So I probably won't read this one because I don't think she can take any more battering, but it was too cool to leave, honestly. So that's a great one. I love that one. Then the Penguins. Talked about this in the video I did about niche books. I found this in a charity shop for £1.50. It was published... When was it published? It was published in 1967. It's All the Little Live Things by Wallace Stegner. I just think the cover, I just love an old penguin cover. There's something about them. So that's my first penguin. One of my favourites. I actually haven't read this. This is on my reading list for this year. I paid £2, apparently, for The Downward Bums by Jack Kerouac. I've never seen this cover either. That's what I like about secondhand and charity shop bookshops, because you find covers that you can't get anymore. And this was published 1976. It's an old book. So that's what, 80, 90... Is that nearly 50 years old, this book? 80, 90, 2006, 2016. Yeah, so next year, this copy will be 50 years old. And to be honest, for 50 years old, it really isn't that bad condition. It's got that nice, matte cover. But yeah, that's a great one as well. Love that one. This was a great find. This is Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. I have read this, actually. The spine is absolutely smashed in, and look at how brown the pages are. I found this in a secondhand bookshop in New Zealand. This was $8, so £4. And it was printed 1938. Oh no, sorry. Published in Penguin Books 1962. So this is a really, again, like a 50, 60-year-old book. Never seen this cover either. That's what I like when I find covers that you just can't get. I don't know, I love that when I have copies that you can't get anywhere. So this one, yeah. And then this one is another penguin. This is Graham Greene, Our Man in Havana. I started to read this. I don't know why I didn't. I think I got distracted. That was £3. Wow. See what I mean about the charity shop prices? This is an old one. You can tell by how burnt the page, not burnt, sun bleached the pages are. It was published or printed, this copy, in 1969. So again, super, super old. All these penguins are 50, 60 years old, but it's just such cute covers. And I don't know, there's something about a secondhand book. It has memories. It feels loved. It's been read. It just doesn't have, new books just don't carry the same energy, the same feeling that a secondhand loved book does. Also, you're giving money to charity, you're supporting a small secondhand bookshop business, because you don't get very many corporate secondhand bookshops. So I like to shop secondhand for most of my books. I found another penguin. This one I also found in New Zealand. I think this might be a children's book or a comic book. It's all pictures. I bought this because it was cool. I've never read, I don't think you really read it. It's just pictures. It's The Penguin Brockbank. I don't actually know what it's about, or... Oh, look at that. Some New Zealand Post Office, Christmas, 1979. You don't get that in a book that you buy in Waterstones. That's why you buy secondhand books. Oh, it's another fucking penguin. I didn't realise how many secondhand penguins I own. This is John Steinbeck, Grapes of Wrath. I have 2 copies of this, but this one I really like. Penguin must have gone through a silver phase, because there is quite a number of... I think I have another one. I'm yet to read this as well. Also, when you buy secondhand books and the spines are broke, I don't feel bad about breaking the spine, and I have a much better reading experience when I'm not peeking like this at the pages. And the last two, this was a charity shop find. It's 12 Years a Slave by Solomon Northup. I haven't read this because, as you can imagine, the topic is quite heavy. I do want to read it. It's, oh no, look, it's like half sun bleached. This was, the sticker's not even on here. I think it was a couple of pound. I remember buying it in an Oxfam. It was originally $6.99, so it's probably quite a number. Oh, £4. Wow. And it was 7 new. This was published. How expensive have books got recently? This edition was published in 2022 and it was $6.99. I'm telling you now, if I walked into Watsons for this book, it would be $9.99, $10.99 probably. And I paid £4 for it second hand. Okay, this one I got on World of Books, which is a second hand website, but it's not a small business, so I don't really like doing that as much. However, it's still second hand. I think I have read this. I enjoyed this. This is So Long See You Tomorrow by William Maxwell. I just liked the cover. I thought it was really nice. I think it's an American farm because that's where it's set, I'm pretty sure. It was, oh yeah, Illinois. It was maybe like a year ago that I read this. It's only a little dinky one. But yeah, that's all my favourite secondhand finds. I really encourage you to shop secondhand, look in your local charity shops, even charity shops that aren't Oxfam books. Every charity shop has a book section, usually with the DVDs and the CDs. Oh shit, it's raining, I need to get mum's washing in. BRB.